I'll say maybe one more comment to say, and speak on this, Stram. Before I got one more comment, and then we'll end with some closing words or whatever. One thing I'll know, Coach Stram coached the distance runners. He said that earlier. Phenomenal distance coach. Everyone respects him. To tell, and this was hard. This is hard for coaches to do. So if you're a sprint coach, you coach the sprinters, and you become a head coach, you're going to make it all sprinters. If you're a quarterback coach and you're in an NFL team, you're going to pass the ball. If you're a running back coach, you're going to run the ball. Stram and Northridge had if anything, for years because of funding or whatever, his distance runners were more at the bottom tier of the conference because Stram knew I want to win a track and field title. And my best bang for my buck is against sprinters and jumpers and throwers because it's going to be too hard to compete with these other schools that are spending all their money in distance or whatever. Talk to people about that because that's hard to do. Imagine you're the head coach, you're the distance coach, and you're sacrificing your area of expertise to a degree where you could take all the money and say, I'm going to get all distance and throw you guys crumbs. And you did that for the success of the program because you said that, no, in Northridge, our best bet is to be I would think my best bet is to be a track and field powerhouse, and we're going to do it in these areas. And I'll put a little money in the distance and have, on people who can score in the mid distances at the conference level.
Well, back in about 2003, 4, 5, right through there, they started cutting my scholarship money, and we were pretty diversified in our program money wise till that point. You looked around the conference, there were 7 head coaches in the conference who were distance coaches. Mm-hmm. So the other 6 coaches were putting the majority of their money into the distance program. So if all of them are putting their money in the distance program, if I'm going to win the conference championship, which was our #1 goal every year, mm-hmm. we had to put money elsewhere. So the distance program suffered. And each year, that I lost money, it came directly out of the distance program, even though I was the distance coach. So then it became even more important for me to find walk-ons, and probably the most successful walk-on was Lily Morajan, who came in as a high school
walk-on,
532 miler, I believe, and ended up being the conference champion in the 10,000. So, and she ran phenomenal time, 34 low. So it was just a different challenge. But if we were going to be the conference champion, then that's where we needed to put our money. It was, you can call it being humble, but it was realistic to the point that that's what we needed to do. So I didn't get to coach as many, shall we say, good athletes. But I had just as much fun coaching all those other athletes because we told the team every year that if we're going to win the conference championship, we're going to need some points out of these walk-ons. And I can remember the one year against Santa Barbara that we won the conference championship by 3 meets. It was at Northridge. And we scored, I think it was 14 points that year in the meet with pure walk-ons. A couple of them in the distance area. We scored like 8 points in the distance area with walk-ons. And if we hadn't had those kids, so they became the joy in coaching. I didn't have to have the superstar. I was content in coaching who I had as long as the program would win.
I think it was smart. It was leadership. It was it showed how good of a general you were, because just thinking that you just said, hey, these 6 guys are beating each other up in this one area. I'm just gonna go outsmart them. I'm gonna go all these other areas where they don't have a serious presence. And I'm doing my MBA, but that's called addition-by-subtraction. and then your walk-on develops. They got all this money and scholarships, and your walk-on wins the conference title. And it's like, hey,